Good evening and welcome to another segment of Thriving Together. I am LaRonda Shanks Scott with eXp Realty, and I'm excited to have my daughter joining me again tonight. You were so silly. We're going to try our best to get through this without cracking up. But I have my daughter joining me again, all the way from Hampton University, Miss Kadin Scott. You feeling real good right now. You're basically on the other side of final exams.
One more day. I go home tomorrow. That's the only thing keeping me going. I'm so happy. The
Between
cold
the
weather.
exams and the win that you were talking about, it's been a struggle this week.
Struggling. This is why I don't leave the building.
This is why you don't leave the building. So, what do you do about food?
I'll leave when it gets dark outside because then it's not windy.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
now you're not going out in the dark by yourself, are you?
I mean, it's just like 5 o'clock. It's dark, but it's five.
But it's still dark. Okay, that's after the show. That's after the show. So, but thank you for coming back and being with me, babe. The first time I had you on the show, it was before you started your first semester. I think it was during August time frame, and you were preparing for college. You had no idea what to expect. So here we are, just a couple days out from ending your first semester. What you think?
Honestly, it's been a roller coaster experience. At first, it was very hard to realize that this is reality. Like I'm away from home. I'm in a dorm by myself, almost 4 hours away from home, but like no family in the area at all. It was really weird. So I was very homesick at first, but as I found my friend group and stuff like that, got comfortable with classes and my environment, it started to get better. And I noticed that um, during my time here, I've been able to grow not only as a student but as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
being more independent because you were always scheduling my appointments, filling all my paperwork
Mm-hmm.
out, addressing things with other adults that had to do with me. But now, since I'm here, I have to address my own issues, like talking to professors about things that I think that they do wrong in their teaching styles, and
Not
going
you
to the
wrong.
doctor's offices and going to the doctor's offices and filling out stuff by myself and actually telling the nurses what's going on with me instead of you saying it. So it's been different, but I like the growth that I've seen in within myself.
And that's honestly why I wanted to bring you back, because I don't know if I've told you this, and I wish I had. I hope this is not the first time that you're hearing it. Is I can see the change in you. I can see how you are growing, how you're maturing. You've always been relatively mature for your age. I'm going to give you that. But I've seen more maturity come out in you. I think the thing that excites me the most is you advocating for yourself, like you said, when it comes to your professors, because I'm not sure all students feel like that's something that they can do. Why have you felt like, okay, I need to advocate for myself here? I need to ask some questions. I need to say a thing.
Well, it's college and high school is very different. One, high school you're going to school for free and it's just like a whole willy nilly thing. But college, you're paying for those classes. You're paying for that education. So it's like if I'm paying for you to teach me stuff, I'm gonna make sure that you're actually teaching me stuff and I'm learning and in the
Mhm.
correct way. So I'm not gonna sit in class and let a professor just do random stuff and skip the material and think that it's okay. No, that's not okay. um, and because I had this one specific professor that he cracks jokes. He's not a very serious guy. And instead of teaching, sometimes he likes to talk to the class about random stuff, and we don't really get much done. And it's a 50-minute class, 50-minute math class at that. So
Mm.
it's like we already have a short amount of time, and semesters aren't that long. It's like 14 weeks, I think. And
Mhm.
you're wasting time trying to make friends rather than make us better students. So I had to address that with him after class. And since then, we've been learning.
Wow. I feel like I could just imagine you sitting in class like, when you
Yeah.
gonna start teaching? What's
Yeah.
going on?
Because for me, it's like, especially with math, I'm a very visual learner.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not taking the time to go over the steps of problems and equations, how to do stuff, I'm not going to understand the material. And I rather learn that stuff in class than to leave class and having to teach myself. And again, I'm paying you to teach me, so I don't want to teach myself. I can do that at home.
So I shouldn't be using the self checkout because I'm like, I'm paying for my food.
That's
Why am
what I'm
I
saying.
checking out?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
let's back up. You're at Hampton University. Initially, when you enrolled, you were one major, but you've since changed your major. What were you initially? What made you change, and what are you now?
Initially, I was a pharmaceutical sciences major, and that was only because that was the only thing at Hampton that really interested me. Pharmaceutical sales has always been like my backup plan because I saw dad do it and it was kind of interesting, but wasn't like my top thing. So it was always my backup plan. But one day I just happened to look up all the majors at Hampton again and just to like re-scroll and make sure I'm sure of my option. And I click on the chemistry thing to see if there's any other like subgroups within chemistry that I could do. And I came across the concentration of forensics. And you know me,
I
criminal minds, investigative me. I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing that. Even though I have never taken a chemistry class ever, even in high school, I decided to tackle it, and here we are.
never warmed a seat in a chemistry classroom and decided, oh, I'm just going to major in chemistry. So, what was that first chemistry class like?
Man, it was very different. Chemistry and any other classes that I've taken is very different because first day of classes, we're introducing the ourselves to the class. The professor is talking to us about themselves, how long they've been teaching, the whole entire rundown that you get every year. But
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, chemistry class, Lord,
Mm-hmm.
he does his little introduction. And I look at my clock and it's like, oh, we still have an hour left. Of course, this man starts notes. It's the first day class. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. Why are we doing this already? It's not even Thursday yet. But that really let me, that day, I realized what I had gotten myself into. And no, it never let up. It never let up at all.
You remind me of myself when I took my first Spanish class. I took Latin in high school. And when I went to college, I took Spanish. So I'm expecting them to teach me from like level one on up. And she walks in the door speaking Spanish. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
And I say to this day, if my line sister is listening, if it was not for Melba Luz de Guadalupe Palo Santos, that was at the time, that was before she got married. If it was not for her, I'd still be at UNC Charlotte taking Spanish.
Yeah. That's the thing I wish that they did more was starting off with more introductory type things because
Mhm.
even my math class with pre-calc, you would think that we do like a review because I guess I'm just used to in high school, like when you start a new class or go to a next grade or semester, whatever, they
Yeah.
kind of do like a review of the previous course so you can get back into it. But they
Mhm.
don't do none of that. They start right at the front of the curriculum and
Yeah.
just go from there. And I didn't even start at 101 chemistry. I started at 201. So that
Oh,
catch up was something serious.
something serious.
Something
So
serious.
how do you adjust? Because high school is one thing. I don't think you really had to put a lot of work into it and study. And
No.
now you're in these college classes. So how are you adjusting?
Well,
That's a heavy breath.
high school, it was, I wouldn't say it was really easy, but it was easy. Never mind. It was easy. Because you were able to go to class. You didn't have very much homework, especially senior year. And
Hmm.
it was just like you might have a test coming up in a month. But
Right.
the thing is, you here in college, it's like they they will not tell you when a test is coming up like a month before. You'll know a week before, not a month, but a week. So it's like for me, after the first time that I got that they did that to me and I wasn't prepared, I made sure after that I didn't go to sleep without making sure my assignments were done.
Mhm.
I didn't go into a weekend with assignments due because once Friday hit and that last class is done, I'm done.
Yeah.
So after classes, in between my break, throughout the week, I am doing work, making sure um, during like in between classes, I was most productive because I'm coming from class to class. There's really no break time. So
Mhm.
during that break, I'm making sure I go to the library or go to the student center, get all my work done as possible before I go to my next class. Or if or if the class that I'm in, we're not doing much and we're just listening to the teacher lecturing and just yapping, I'm working on something, always doing something. So I'm not coming back to my dorm because I noticed that once I get back to my dorm and I see my bed, I'm not doing anything else. So I make sure before I come back, everything for the day is done, maybe for the next day. So I'm pretty chill. But that really is what helped me is being disciplined with work. Because in high
Mhm.
school, I was able to push things off and turn it in late and get a 90. That's still an A, but they don't give
Mhm.
us points here. If you
Yeah.
turn it in late, you're probably gonna get a 0. So just making sure I'm on top of everything, looking at Canvas, my emails all the time, making sure I'm not behind on anything, up to date with all the assignments, putting everything in a calendar, and just going down the list of priorities and stuff like that. So,
You, Kaden, you've been standing on business. And what's odd for, for me and probably other parents that are out there, it's like, okay, so what do I do? What do I not do? But you've been standing on business, you've been disciplined, you've been handling things yourself. It's like, should I be doing anything? What are your thoughts on that?
first off, you saying standing on business is actually very funny.
Why is it gotta be?
But my thoughts on that. Quite honestly, I didn't even realize I did that, to be honest with you.
What
I
you
was
mean?
just realized, me not seeming like I need too much help now that I'm here with
Mm-hmm.
like classes and managing stuff like that. But I mean, I've definitely had my ups and downs. That first chemistry exam had me distraught, but that's not the point. Um,
And she was, y'all. She is not lying. Her and a friend of hers down the hall, she was questioning life, her life
Oh my
decisions.
gosh. But now every time I take a chemistry exam and it's done,
Mhm.
I just tell everybody it's in God's hands now
Yeah.
because I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't even realize I did that. I was in such a groove, ready for the break. Every time that I have a tough week or something, what keeps me going is a break. Am I going home
Mhm.
this weekend? Is Thanksgiving break coming up? Is winter break coming up? That is what's keeping me in my groove. And I didn't even realize how it seemed on your end.
Oh,
Um,
no, no, no. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm actually saying it's a good thing because, again, I'm a part of a parent group for Hampton students graduating in what, 2028? Yeah, in 2028. So, of course, there's a lot of conversation in there, and there's a lot of parents trying to figure that out in terms of their first child going to school, their children going to college and trying to figure out what their role is. So, of course, for me, and I'm just going to say it, it's a proud moment for me and your dad to see that, dang, she is handling her business, because there's no one there reminding you, you need to get up, you're going to be late, you know, what as what homework assignment do you have to do? Have you done this for your project? So what keeps you, like you said the breaks keep you in a groove, but there's something else keeping you motivated there. What's keeping you motivated to do that?
I feel like I've always been a goals driven person. So when I want something and I truly want it, I feel like once I get on the track and know what I'm doing, I take everything on like head on, and I don't stop until I get there. And quite honestly, um for me, I want to be in the FBI really bad. So it's like I know what I need to do. I know what I need to accomplish, the things that I need to achieve while I'm here. And it's just, hey, it this is my opportunity to do something great, be something great, and have a great future. So I'm taking the opportunity.
You got to meet some real life agents here.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was really crazy. Not even just agents, but African American agents that went to this school. And I spoke to one specifically. He was the same major as me, a forensic chemistry major, and he is now in the FBI. And just talking to him and actually being in the room with some special agents and not just watching it from a criminal minds screen. or any other FBI show, it was really weird, really really weird, because like y'all are really
Mhm.
like federal government agents. It's kind of
Right.
that's real federal.
But
But
then, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
say it again.
Now say, tell them what you told me about some bombs. I need you to be more specific when you
Oh,
told me about. Yeah.
I talked to one of the one guy who was a forensic chemistry major here. I talked to him, got his information, and he was telling me about all the different jobs and programs that the FBI has for chemistry people. And one of the things was a like a bomb investigative job that which sounded really cool to me. Even though I'm not going to be a part of bomb squad, I had to tell her that, y'all,
I
because
had to ask that question, y'all, because she didn't lead with that.
I don't want to be a part of people who go up into places risking their lives to be blown up into pieces. No. Once it's like, what is it called? Deactivated, detonated? No, not detonated, because that means it's getting about to blow up. But
Yeah.
once it's neutralized, I guess is the word to
I
say.
guess. Yeah. Okay. We'll
I
go
would
with
be the person to investigate it, look into it, see how it was made and stuff like that. But he was talking about that. The entry level for that job pays what he's getting now. So so and he's been FBI for, I think he said like 10, 15 years.
what?
So that right there is one of the things that's also been keeping me going as well, because it's like me being a chemistry major, I can go out of college making some money, and that's what I need. That's what I need to uphold my bougie lifestyle.
I'm so glad you said it, and bougie and
But who do I get it
soul.
from? But who do I get it from?
Oh, that we're talking about you.
Exactly.
We're talking
Anywho,
about
next question.
you. So this has been a phase. Not only you thriving academically, but I'm sure you've been learning some things about yourself. And every day isn't easy. So what would you say you've been learning about yourself now that you're adulting?
Outside of my limits when it comes to how I act once I get to a certain place, like coming back to my room and seeing my bed. If I
Mhm.
get in my bed, no work's getting done. So I feel like I have learned my limits when it comes to a lot of things, especially like people. People.
Mhm.
Coming from a predominantly white school, I never really interacted with this many Black people before in my life. But
Mhm.
coming here, I have learned that, like you told me, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. So, so learning my limits with people and their access to me and and how they can affect me is definitely something that
Mm.
I've learned and been intact with, because I do not like allowing people, whether it's a friend, a peer, somebody in my class, a professor, or a partner or anything like that,
Mhm.
affects my emotions, because only I should be able to control my emotions and how my mood changes throughout the day. So I feel like limits is something that I really have learned the most of as I've been here. And also like eating. The first, I know everybody has heard of freshman 15. Lord, that was my goal, was to never say I experienced freshman 15. Being an athlete all my life, absolutely not. That's not happening. So when it comes to that, I mean, that plays a part in limits as well, because I limit myself to the amount of junk food I eat. I cut off sodas a couple years ago. I haven't drank a soda in years, but now I have looked at my health a lot more, and have put more time into eating healthier and cutting out processed food. Like I haven't asked you for an Instacart order in a minute, because a lot of those snacks that I got in the last order are still sitting on my in my room, because it's a lot of processed foods. I don't drink juice anymore. Um, I drink at least 3 bottles of water a day, probably 4 or 5, but that's on a good day. That's on a good day. Um, so processed foods is cut out. So I have been trying to eat more, I wouldn't say home like food, but like food that isn't, like meals that isn't really beneficial to my health and nutrients and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So like if I eat a sandwich, the sandwich is going to have lettuce, tomato, all the vegetables on it. It's not just going to be a cheeseburger and fries. It's going to be a sandwich and maybe a salad or some fruit, something
Mhm.
healthy, I did. I'm not gonna lie. During homecoming week and Halloween week, I was not in the gym. I was eating really bad, and I started to see myself gain weight. And not doing that.
I'm
So
sitting here like, who is this person? Because I don't know if you remember it. When Caleb went off to school and he came back, he was all about his eating. And you said, I don't like the healthy Caleb because he
yeah,
was
I did it.
messing up your groove when it came to what you were eating. So now you were doing the exact same thing.
Yeah,
I'm
because
like,
just
who is
seeing him,
this
because
child?
Caleb can tear down some food now. He can tear down some food. So when he was home before he went to college, and he came back, and we weren't going on our little Sheets runs or McDonald's runs to go get something sweet to eat late at night, I'm just like, who is this? What they do with my brother at Georgia State? Because this ain't Caleb's God. But yeah, I mean, I have my moments here and there when it comes to like chips and stuff like that. But I do look at like the nutritional facts on the back. Like I'll eat Sun
Mhm.
chips instead of Lay's potato chips because Sun chips are the more healthier option. Or
Mhm.
if not chips, then popcorn because popcorn comes from a whole grain. I've just been more, what's the word, intentional about what I eat.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Okay, man. Well, all right then. I guess my pantry, my refrigerator is going to look a little different over Christmas break. Okay, I'm not mad at it. Now, something that I don't know if you call it, oh, is it a saying, mantra? I'm not sure what the term is. I'm losing the term. But there was something that you used to say, or you may still say it, is that I am my own gift. And I would love for you to share what does that mean to you, and how do you kind of model your walk in this life around that?
Yeah, I had it was you are your own gift in my bio on Instagram for a couple of years, I think. It's not I don't think it's on there anymore. I don't know. But that whole thing, it was I saw that quote somewhere on social media, and it was just like one of those quotes that makes you open up your eyes. Cause when you receive a gift from someone, it just like it most of the time is beneficial to you, whether it's a pair of shoes or a toiletry item in a stocking for Christmas. But in most times it's beneficial to you, but you never think of the gifts that you were already given that you don't see. And one of those
Mm-hmm.
gifts that you were given that you don't really realize is yourself. You can be anything that you want to in life. Anything that you want that you put your mind to, you can do it. You can achieve it. And one of the times in my life that I really realized that, and I looked back at that quote and was like, wow, that's like really true, is wrestling season. Wrestling season
Mm-hmm.
opened up my eyes so many different ways, from coming from playing basketball for about 14 years, AAU, school basketball. I didn't know anything else but basketball. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I played different sports here and there, but it never really stuck. But once I quit and joined wrestling, that was like there's so many things within that you just need to unlock. And
Yeah.
it's like until you unlock it, you're not going to realize your full potential. You're not going to think, oh, I could do this. But once you do it, you realize that you are your own gift.
I heard you told me one time that this is a mental sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be in shape, you got to have skills, and the training and everything. But your success in it is because it's the mental part of it. Talk about that a little bit.
I would say it's a mental sport because of you are the only person on that mat. It's you, the opponent, and the ref. But there's
Mhm.
nobody else representing your team at that very moment but you. So instead of playing basketball and there's four of the people on the court with you, or you're playing football. Oh my gosh, how many people's on the field?
Don't start me lying. Keep it moving. Keep it
I don't
moving.
know. Anywho, but in those sports, you are playing with teammates. Yes, I have teammates, but we don't compete at the same time. So
Hmm.
when you're on the mat, you have to get your head in. I wouldn't say in the game because it's not really a game, but
And
you have
Matt.
to. Yeah, you have to get your head in a match. I don't like that.
In the back.
I don't like that. But
Moving on.
you have to prepare yourself to put your best foot forward so you can bring home that win. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just when you win, it's like, yeah, it feels really good when you win because it's like, I did that. Nobody else did it but me. I didn't have teammates that carried me who led the score in points or assists or rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
You brought home that win because of you and how much work that you put in. But at the same time, the bad part about that is the losses. The
Yeah.
losses hurt the most because you have nobody else to blame. It's
Yeah.
basically, unless there was an error with the ref, which only happened one time out of like my 40 matches. I wrestled.
Everybody in the gym felt that.
That was,
Everybody.
that was
They
so scary.
saw it. Yeah.
But once you lose, it you feel it in your chest, your heart, and up here, because not only are you doubting yourself, but you put so much time, energy, work, sweat, blood, and tears into
Literally.
something, and it didn't come out the way that you wanted it. So when those things happen, it takes a certain mindset to know that, yeah, you're going to lose, but next time you might win. So just work harder so you can bring home the win next time. So it's a lot of mind games, mind challenges, and a lot of tests within yourself during that sport. And I
Mhm.
mean, it was I would I would say that for anybody coming new into the sport is to not lose hope in yourself, because you're gonna have to realize that you can't win without losing.
Mhm.
'Cause my first loss, I think that that really hit me hard because I've never played in I wouldn't say singular sport, but a sport where everything relied on me.
Mhm.
So that first loss really opened up my eyes, and I started going to wrestling practices outside of wrestling practice. I started training with few of my other teammates who had wrestled before and with coaches that weren't my high school coaches. So after that loss, I put in more work. I went to the gym just so I didn't feel that again.
Mhm.
It's a lot, but I love wrestling. I'd go back if I could.
I know you would. I know you would. The other thing is, I'm just listening to what you learned from it and what you got from it, and the wrestling and that experience, that mental experience, just translates into life. Have you been carrying that into life since then?
Yeah, from because after I quit basketball, I really did not know who I was outside of basketball. Because, like I said before, I played basketball for almost 14 years. I'm 18 now. I started
Yeah.
playing when I was 5. So, and I'm adding that extra year because of all the times that I played throughout the year. It was nonstop. It was from school to AAU to school back to AAU to school back to AAU repeatedly, no break.
But go ahead.
No break. So when I quit basketball and and I was basically a narc for a little bit in high school, I didn't really know who I was without it. It was like, who can I be without basketball being attached to it,
Mhm.
without being a teammate, without being a player. So it was like I really had a hard time finding myself again without
Mhm.
any other title, without just that's not Kadin Scott. So
Right.
once I was successful and went to states and everything with wrestling, it made me realize that even though I've done something for so long, I can do something else. You don't have to stick to one thing just to be happy or to keep yourself like, well, not, I wouldn't say keep yourself, but like to know who you are. You can
Mhm.
do anything else that you want to do. I mean, something isn't gonna might not satisfy you for a very long time, and you might have to switch it up and find something new, and that's okay. And that new thing might unlock and embrace other things that you didn't even know you had, and that's exactly what wrestling did.
Yeah.
So after wrestling season, what I brought into my life and I reflect on is knowing that this might not be what I'm going to be doing forever. And that's okay. Because anything else
Mhm.
that I might do, and that, well, no, I just lost what I was about to say. Anything else that comes into my life that's different, I might enjoy it. I might succeed in it. It might not be something that I saw myself doing 2 years ago, but now I'm striving in it. And that's perfectly fine. As long as it makes me happy, that's perfectly fine. Not everything's
Yeah.
permanent. Changes happen, change is good. And it's
Yo,
what
I'm like, who is this person on the other side of this screen?
oh my goodness.
But you know, the other piece of that is, would you say that it also gave you an opportunity? Well, you also came to learn what perceived expectations were, to
Hmm.
where it's like you realize I thought people wanted these things of me, and it
Hmm.
really wasn't, and it became what I wanted. But now I realize I want something different.
Yeah. Once I started doing something, which was wrestling, that was not connected to anybody else in the family. Nobody in the area or in our family really knew too much about wrestling. There was I didn't have any cousins or aunts or uncles who wrestled in high school. At least I don't think.
Oh, Ambrose.
He did?
Yeah, but you know that was at the end of your season when we made the connection. I totally forgot he
Oh, yeah.
did.
Well, I didn't even know that. So I wasn't really familiar with wrestling. So going into that was really just my choice and what
Yeah.
I wanted to do and try. So coming out of the expectation of playing basketball and committing to a college, committing to a college to play basketball for 4 more years, I was doing something that I wanted to do. And that I feel like that made a very big it was very easy to tell which one I felt like I was expected to do, which one I wanted to do, because I came to love wrestling so quick.
You
So
did.
so quick.
You
And I
really
still love
did.
wrestling to this day. A matter of fact, on Saturday I'm going to my teammates wrestling tournament. So
Oh, and last week, y'all, she went to wrestling practice and realized, woo, it's been a while.
while we tell my business, I don't like that. But yeah, I was hurt, y'all.
That's as far as I'll go. That's as far as I'll go.
Ever no, because let's talk about it. I don't know what in the world is in the air, or if it's just my body finally recovering from earlier this year. Because it hasn't even been that long since I've stopped wrestling, but it was just earlier in this year. I have been hurting as if I am 65 years old. I get up, my shoulder hurt, my hip hurt, my back hurt, my foot hurt, my ankles, my knees, my neck. It's always something. So it's just like ever since that season ended, I've I went from 17 to 75 real quick. Real.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart.
Mm.
Well, I am not going to keep you long because, again, I know you got some more projects and another exam coming up to wrap up the
When I'm
semester.
done, hallelujah. Hallelujah.
You will be done here soon with this first semester, and you have handled it like a champ. So I wanted folks now. You guys are going to have to go back and see her first interview and then look at this one, and now you will see what it is I'm saying. But young lady, your dad and I are proud of you, and we cannot wait to see the things that you accomplish. And like you said, you are your own gift, and you are truly a gift for us. So thank you. You know,
Oh.
so look, I'm just see y'all see how she does me. All right, love you, girl.
Love you too.